my earbuds in, lacking the energy to talk to strangers. I also noticed a couple of people in one of the forward cars as the train pulled up to the platform. A man and a woman, I thought. But I had this car to myself, which was fine with me. As I pulled off my earbuds, I tried to listen to the conversation. Then I leaned over and pulled my wallet out of my back pocket so I could see evenly. I shoved the wallet into my backpack, as I did on every other train ride. I got my ticket out and put it in the little metal bracket affixed to the seat back in front of me. I figured the conductor, who I was on a first-name basis with, would be
Hey,
my
what's up?
friend.
What's
Then I
going on?
sat back and struggled to connect the circuit
Yeah, I'm
with
in
the
a
rest of the
scary
ideas in my
place.
ears. Someone touched my
I don't
shoulder
know
and I
what the
jumped,
heck this is.
realizing as I sat up
Hey,
that
what's
I
up?
was asleep. I looked up to
This
see
game
the
looks
conductor,
stupid.
Hassan
I
Mohammed,
think I might switch
smiling
games.
down at me. He waited for me to pull out my earbuds before speaking. Did you
Okay.
set an alarm? I shook my head. Forgot. He tisked and shook his head.
There's trash and
Kids
everything.
always be around to wake you up, my friend. Better set one. We're running right on time today. I will. As Hassan was about to say something else, a thump came from the next car up, drawing his attention away. What's going on up there? I asked. I don't know, Hassan said, looking toward the doors between cars. I gotta go check. Take care, Wes. Set that alarm. Yeah, thanks, Hassan. I'll see you tomorrow. He moved off toward the
Get
next
this
car.
little Asian
I
vibe
watched
going.
him go through the first door, then lost him from sight
Hey,
as
what's
he
up,
went through the second
Matai?
door
I don't know how to
towards the
say your
next
name,
car.
man. Sorry.
As I went to put my earbuds back into my ears, I heard a shout come from the car Hassan had gone into. Leaning out, I peered down the aisle, but I couldn't see anything past the door. There was a small window in it, but my angle didn't allow me to see through it with any sort of clarity. Putting my earbuds back into their case, I thought that taking a walk around wouldn't hurt. It would be hard for me to fall asleep on my feet. Leaving my backpack in the seat next to me, I stood up on the gently swaying train. As I moved toward the next car in line, I was at an angle that would allow me to see through the small windows of the two doors between the cars. But the second window was covered with something, preventing me from seeing through. I pressed the button on the first door, which slid open, revealing the small space between the cars. As I stepped up to the other door,
I
I
don't
could
know
see
what
that
any
the
of this
window
crap
was
is.
covered from the other side with a newspaper. Although most people read the news on their phones, I always
I'm
spoke
over
up
this
about the
game. This
immigrants
game's
and morning
stupid.
commutes who read newspapers. And it was common for them to be left lying on seats for
Let's
anyone
exit
else
this
who
one.
wanted to read them.
I don't know what that was. That
What
was
wasn't
crap.
common was seeing them blocking one of the door windows. I pressed the second button, and the portal slid open. Stepping through, I saw two pairs of feet sticking out into the aisle
Let's see.
ahead. The feet were
Let's play
hanging
this
off the
stupid
edge of the
game.
seats. It was as if two
See if I
people
can
were
remember
sprawled
how to
out
play
on
it.
adjacent rows, trying to sleep. I saw no sign of Hassan
Okay,
anywhere.
let's get hit.
Moving up toward the feet,
We'll do that.
I glanced
And then
over to
that.
see a man
Perfect.
lying limply across two seats.
We
His
got
eyes were
this.
closed,
And
and
then
his
we'll have
plain white
this.
button-up shirt was
And
covered in
then we'll
blood.
take that.
Panic building, I whipped my head to the left,
Okay, we got 7
seeing that
there.
there was a woman in the row across the aisle.
Might as well just
She
hit
had
that.
stab
And
wounds
then
in
we
her
got that.
turquoise
Perfect.
blouse, which was heavy with blood.
Hmm.
Taking a step back, I
This
glanced
is
at his
not
body
doing well.
again, jumping when I saw that his
What did it
eyes were
say?
open
Hi,
and
how are you?
smiling. Ah! He cried
Yeah, I'm
hoarsely.
close. I was at 2 million
Keep your
subs, but I
paws away
lost
from
like
the other
7,000
employees.
last month.
He laughed loudly as he
I don't
stood up.
know why.
Relief swept over me.
People just hate me, I
Hassan did
guess.
too, even though I was thinking about why someone would pull a prank like this on a stranger. Halloween wasn't for months. Then I started thinking about hidden cameras. Maybe this was a YouTube thing. As the man stepped out into the aisle, I looked over toward the woman, expecting her to get up and join the laughter. She didn't move, and the wounds looked so real. The man stopped laughing, and I looked up into his face. He was smiling at me, his big teeth, dull eyes, and narrow face giving him a kind of homely, simple look. His hairline had retreated far up his head, only adding to the look.
I
Expecting
don't
him
know
to
if I'm
say
going to
something,
survive this.
I looked into his eyes,
But thank you.
but he said
I hope I
nothing.
get 2
His
million subs.
expression
That'd be
didn't
nice.
change.
My
A few
account needs to
minutes
start
later,
doing better.
we looked at each other for what seemed like 15 seconds. A long time to be looking silently at a perfect Finally, I cleared my throat and gestured at the woman. She okay? Rachel, he said. You okay, honey? She didn't move, didn't speak. Rachel? The man said, his pitch getting louder. Something isn't right here, I thought. The man dropped onto his knees in the aisle, grabbing the woman's arms. Rachel! He screamed. No! His scream turned to laughter after a long moment. I backed down the aisle, a horrible fear spreading through me.
I think I just lost. Man, this is impossible, guys.
With the kitchen knife he had hidden behind his back.
I
He stood up as he continued laughing. Of course she's not okay, he shouted, turning to face me. She's fucking dead, you idiot!
Hey, you don't need to cuss, bro.
Killed her. He darted toward me, and I turned to run. I came to the newspaper-covered door, slapping at the button as his footsteps boomed toward me. As the door opened, I slipped through sideways, eager for any advantage I could get. But it was no use. Even as I punched the button on the other door, I knew the door behind me wouldn't close before he got to it. Sure enough, I turned around and saw him moving swiftly through the open doorway. Behind me, the second door opened. I backpedaled, hands held up, as the maniac barreled toward me. As he closed the distance, something strange happened. It was almost like I stepped out of my body to see things from a different perspective. It didn't bring a sense of calm with it. I was still more scared than I'd ever been in my entire life. But I knew that it was time to fight or die. I had no formal training. I wasn't a big guy by any means. The maniac had a couple of inches and probably 15 pounds on me. But that didn't mean I was just going to give up and let him kill me. I had to fight, so I crouched on tense legs as he approached. He slowed slightly just before swinging the blade toward me. I jumped back, but I wasn't fast enough. The blade hit the edge of my right hand, opening up my flesh. As he was bringing the blade back the other way, the train started to slow, throwing us both a little off balance. We were
think I got it, bro.
at Owens Street Station.
Retro Robot Grind, how are you?
Kicked out with my right foot, aiming
Thanks for
his
thinking
crotch,
about me, bro.
but he shifted quickly, and my kick glanced off the inside of his left thigh. The train was slowing
I don't know
faster.
if I'll survive
I was
this.
barely
Jeez.
aware of it as the maniac threw himself at me. I managed to grab his right wrist in both hands, keeping the knife from plunging into my face. But he kept pushing, and I lost my feet, falling down and slamming my head into the floor. The maniac landed on top of me, his weight forcing the knife blade down. The tip of the blade entered my face on the outside of my left cheekbone. As we hit the floor, it continued down, cutting a ragged line down the left side of my face, then stabbing through my ear and into the floor. I was still gripping his right arm. Only now, I was preventing him from pulling the arm back up so he could finish the job. Hearing the mechanical sound of the automatic doors opening, I realized the train was fully stopped. We ended up right next to one of the two sets of doors in the train car.
I'm killing it,
The
bro.
maniac turned his head to look out the open doors. I
I
turned my
forget.
head as well, even though it caused the knife to tear through my ear. There was a woman standing there, not much more than a girl, maybe 18 or so. She stood on the platform, staring through the doors at us, shock her only expression. Her eyes bounced between my face and my attackers. Then the door closing chime sounded, and the doors started to slide close. Help! I shouted, just before the doors met. It was all I could think to do. Not that it would help me now. The next stop, my stop, was a good 10 minutes away. There was
I don't know what's going on, bro. 80 people are watching this game?
The maniac laughed wildly.
I wonder if that's true.
Trying to pull the knife up. I still had both hands gripping his right arm, which meant his left arm was free. He punched me in the face with his left fist. The blow, painful but far from powerful. Knowing I could take many more of those punches than good stabs with the knife, I held onto his
Okay, we
arm
got
with all
two.
my might. My left hand was bleeding where he'd cut
I can
me,
do that.
but the maniac was wearing a long-sleeved shirt, so the blood.
That was a sucker punch, bro.
I could feel the cut along the side of my face bleeding heavily. It burned, and the hearing in my left ear was partially dampened by the blood flowing into the ear canal. I needed a way to get him off me, a way to take the knife from him. Otherwise, I was going to die. The maniac hit me.
I win. I am the best. Nobody can beat me.
He laughed crazily.
What's up, everybody? Say hi in the comment. Comment. Say hi if you're here.
Before I realized with any sort of coherency what I was doing, I brought my lips together, saliva on my tongue, and then spit into the maniac's mouth. His face went from gleeful psycho killer to disgusted middle-aged man in an instant, and he paused, his muscles going slack with surprise. Whipping my head up, I smashed my forehead into his mouth, feeling his front teeth fold inward with the impact. He jerked backward, and I let go of his arm, knowing that it meant getting him off of me. He fell back with the knife still in his right hand. He brought his left hand to his mouth, which was now filling with blood. Scrambling up, I jumped over the row of seats on the right.
This music's like
Still
something.
partially in shock from the hit, he swung at me lazily from his sitting position, not coming anywhere close to hitting me. For a moment, I thought about trying to end things right then, but he still had the knife, and he was still conscious. So instead of staying to fight, I ran. This time, I got through both doors without him coming after me. I hurried past the dead woman on the seats, and when I got a few more rows up, something caught my eye. It was Hassan. His throat had been cut, and his body had been shoved into one of the
Oh no,
doors.
not Assad.
Rage and sadness clashed inside me as I stood there looking down at the man who
Huh.
had
What should I do?
I liked
This
Hassan.
thing?
He was one of the good ones. Behind me, the sound of the door between cars opening sent a warning jolt up my spine. Without looking back, I ran toward the front of the train. It was only when I got to the next set of doors between cars that I glanced over my shoulder. The maniac was smiling
I'm
again,
getting my butt
but he
kicked.
pulled out his damaged front teeth, so there was a large gap in his smile. Blood poured down his chin and throat as he ran toward me, knife glinting dangerously in the overhead lights. Slipping through the first door, I turned and looked for some way to lock it, but there was nothing that I could see in my panicked glance. Moving through the second door, I peered around the empty car, searching for anything that could help me, some kind of weapon I could use. My eyes darted towards two emergency handles on one of the windows. The windows were designed so anyone could operate them easily, even when stress and adrenaline were working against them. I read the little stickers over the emergency windows so many times on my rides that I knew just what you were supposed to do. All you had to do was pull the handles, remove the rubber, and then remove the window. I rushed to the window and yanked down on the handles. The rubber around the window came out a few inches, and I yanked again to pull it down further. At the back of the car, the door opened, and the maniac stalked into the train car. I let go of the rubber and grabbed the top of the window pane, pulling it out with some effort. Then I twisted and threw the thing at the maniac as he approached. The glass was designed not to break easily.
Man, I'm
and
killing
I
it,
didn't
bro.
disappoint.
Hey, what's up, Huggy Monster? How are you? Thanks for coming in.
Clattered to the floor.
Sorry if I missed you.
Having bought myself some time, I climbed up into the window and looked at the ground rushing by below. We were going maybe 40 miles an hour. There was a
I wonder if I'm
train
gonna get
next to
this.
us, and as I glanced toward the front of the train,
Hmm.
I saw that another locomotive was coming from the other direction. I had only seconds to jump, and I had to pray I could get off the adjacent tracks in time to not get run over by the passing train.
I'm killing it, bro.
The maniac had recovered and was rushing toward me, knife ready to stab. I jumped out the window. Managing to hit the ground feet first likely saved my life. I landed in the middle of the adjacent track, and my feet went out from under me, causing me to roll on the railroad ties, my head narrowly missing the hard metal track. Pain shot through me, and the wind left my lungs in a whoosh. The bright light was speeding
Done.
through
I killed it,
my
bro.
surroundings, and the train horn blared. The sound of
Huggy
it
Monster.
my ears as the vehicle closed the distance. Scrambling up, I launched myself off the tracks a split second before the train flew past. Covering my head, I lay in the ditch next to the tracks and waited for the train to roar past. When it was finally gone, I raised my head and looked around. The area was silent. Both trains had gone their separate directions. In a moment of panic, I imagined the maniac lunging from the greenery on the other side of the tracks, bearing down on me to finish the job. But the area remained silent as I got to my feet. Pulling out my phone to call the police, I wasn't entirely surprised to find that the phone had been smashed when I jumped off the train. I limped to the side of the tracks and pushed through the foliage. After walking for 5 minutes into the neighborhood, I realized I wasn't far from my house. Once I got home, I could use my brother's phone to call the police and the paramedics. Then I would wait for them to arrive at my own bed. As I limped down the silent street, I touched the cut on my face. It wasn't bleeding so much anymore, although my ear was still dripping blood onto my shoulder and soaking my shirt. My My hand
Got it.
wasn't bleeding much
Cool.
anymore
I'm
either.
killing it, bro.
I still had my keys in my pocket.
Poor Huggy Monster, he left. And I never got to say goodbye.
And I didn't want to wake him. The last thing I needed was him freaking out over my appearance. I would have to comfort him and calm him down. That could wait. I slipped into his room and grabbed his phone from the nightstand. Then I called 911 and gave him the whole story. When that was done, I collapsed into my bed. I slipped into sweet oblivion for what seemed like
Hey, what's up?
when the sound of footsteps.
How are you?
I lifted my head off the bed and looked toward my bedroom door. A man stood there, backlit by the hallway light. At first,
What's going on, Eagle?
police officer.
I hope I said that right.
The backpack sitting on the floor next to his foot. It was my backpack, the one I'd left on the train, with my wallet inside. The man reached over and flipped the light on. The maniac stood there, bloody mouth grinning, knife glinting. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy these stories, be sure to subscribe and check out some more of my episodes here. I lay awake, fully aware of the sound of my wife breathing. Mostly, I had my ears attuned to noises coming from outside. I listened for footsteps, for whispered words, for the slide of a pump-action shotgun, or the metallic sound of a cartridge pushed into a breech. But I heard nothing of the sort. It gave me no comfort. When we first moved in, I hadn't considered getting a security system. I didn't think we would need one. That was part of the charm, the safety of small-town America. How wrong I was. Even now, things had progressed to the point where I wasn't sure if a security system would do much good. I was beginning to think that the only thing to do was move. We hadn't even been in the house for a month, and already I was considering moving. I was scared, but being scared made me mad. The two emotions warred against each other, making sleep an impossible task. I snapped up in bed at the sound of something hitting the side of the house. I had scarcely taken a breath when another, more pronounced and dread-inducing sound came from downstairs. It was the shattering of glass. Not looking, I reached over and grabbed my wife, who was already moving.
People say hi, but they're not staying. That's weird.
I said, throwing the
You guys are all
keys
being
on the
weirdos.
door.
I'm just kidding.
From the back of the house came another thud. As I got to my daughter's room, I heard one of the back windows shatter. There was more than one attacker. They were on both sides of the house. My daughter started bawling before I even got the door open. I raced to her side and grabbed her up. At 9, she was still small enough for me to do so. I heard Vivian's footsteps behind me as she ran down the hall. Trisha held against my chest. I stepped into the hallway. The thumping and crashing were coming from all sides now. Fear shortened my breath and flushed my muscles with tension as I realized there had to be at least 6 or 7 of them out there. I was sure all our downstairs windows were not broken as I ran to the hall bathroom and ducked inside. Vivian came in behind me and slammed the door, locking it. We were on the second floor, and there was only one small window above the bathtub. I pulled the shower curtain.
Oh man, I'm getting tired. Probably go to bed here in a minute.
One of them managed to hit the window with a stone or a brick, or whatever it was they were throwing. Vivian and I got down, backs against the bathroom cabinet below the sink, and huddled together.
Hey, what's up, Jibin?
The sobbing Trisha in a protective embrace, and listened as the attack continued outside.
What are you doing?
There was a nightlight above the sink in the bathroom. We hadn't turned on the light for fear it would alert our attackers to our location in the house.
There's something on my thing.
I looked at my beautiful wife and daughter, their faces distorted by fear. Their normally rich, dark skin was ashy, save where tears had cut dark lines down their faces. Yes, I was afraid in that moment. Afraid they would come into the house and kill us. Afraid they would take away the 2 most important people in my life. But mostly, I was mad. I was filled with a rage that ran so deep and so red, it seemed to create a halo of hate in my vision. But when I heard a crash that could only be the front door breaking in, fear took over. I did nothing but cower in my own house, waiting for our attackers to come upstairs and do whatever they pleased to us. It'll be nice to have some new faces in town, the real estate agent said as I looked around the living room. I shot him a glance. If you buy the place, of course, he said, realizing his assumption. Then again, it was a fair assumption. It was the second time I looked at the house.
Get it. Oh, I got that was a good game. GG, bro.
But the first time I looked at it, I took a video of the place and sent it to Viv. She and Trisha watched it that night and said they thought it was great, but that the ultimate decision was up to me. Vivian and I had already done online research into the town and people. The schools were supposed to be good, with small class sizes and decent after-school programs. The only concern we had was that it was a
Killing it,
place.
bro. Killing it.
A person of color while I had been in the town of Rainer. Although I looked like your average white guy, I was really half Hispanic. Vivian was black, and my daughter looked very much like her mother, with only slightly lighter skin. I had kind of envisioned her growing up around people of all ethnic backgrounds, not just one group, whether it be white, black, Hispanic, or any of the other groups that called America home. But in the end, I thought Rainer was perfect for us. The house was great, on a couple of acres of land that we could use for gardening and enjoying the outdoors. The town seemed quaint and quiet, so the lack of diversity wasn't a big enough reason to not buy the house. Once I was done looking the whole place over for the second time, I stepped over to the real estate agent whose name was Buchanan. He struck me as an all-American type. He had fair skin and light hair. His eyes were bright blue. He'd probably played football at Rainer High School. "I'd like to make an offer," I said. "That's great, Mr. Larson," he said, shaking my hand briefly. "What kind of name is Larson, anyway?" I think it's Scandinavian," I said, smiling. "Of course, my father's family has been in the country for several generations." "Of course," Buchanan said, smiling back. "Well, that's just great. I'm excited to meet your wife and daughter. Do you have a picture of them?" I thought this an odd request. Of course I had pictures of them on my phone, but I didn't really feel comfortable sharing them with this guy who I barely knew. Yeah, no," I said. "I'm sure you'll meet them soon enough." There was a flicker of something in Buchanan's eyes, but he raised his hands in apology. "Sorry, overstepping my bounds. I'm just glad we're getting a nice American family in here." "Me too. I'm sure we'll love living in this beautiful little town." I didn't see Buchanan again until it was time to finalize the paperwork, and that was a brief meeting at his office in the small downtown area. He was as nice as ever, and so were the people I saw around town. Many of them waved or smiled at me as I walked along. It was a strange feeling, seeing as how it was uncommon for people in Atlanta to say hi to strangers. When the sale was officially through, I was already back in Georgia, making plans for the move out of our apartment. We left the ATL at the end of the month, driving up to our new house in the southeastern corner of Iowa. The movers we hired would meet us at our possessions in a few days. When we came into town and stopped at the real estate office to get the keys to the house, Vivian and Trisha were busy commenting on how the town looked so perfect. "It was like something out of a movie," Trisha said. I beamed with pride. It had taken many years of hard work and saving money, but we were finally going to live the American dream. Both Viv and I had remote jobs, so we could work from home, which meant being around to raise our daughter together. It really was a dream come true. Right up until the three of us got out of the car in the parking lot, just a block away from Buchanan's office. I was immediately aware of the unfriendly eyes on us. Faces peered out of shop windows as we moved down the street. People driving by turned up their heads to stare. The people we passed didn't smile, nor did they wave, despite my wife and daughter smiling politely and raising their hands in greeting. It was like night and day from when I'd come by myself. Vivian and I shared a look as we got to the real estate office. I just shrugged. I had no idea what the problem was. Only that's not exactly true. There was only one difference I could see. Well, two to be exact. And they were standing next to me in front of the office door. Inside the office, we were greeted coldly by the receptionist I knew as Mrs. Buchanan, the real estate agent's wife. "I'll get Fred," she said without preamble, standing up from behind the desk and hustling into the back of the office. Moments later, Fred Buchanan came out, eyes wide as they traveled over my wife and daughter. He seemed whiter than usual, as if he'd gone pale. "Mr. Larson," he said, not offering to shake my hand. He had a set of keys in one hand, and he gave them over to me. Then he turned around and walked back toward the door he'd come through not even a minute ago. As he went through the door, he glanced at my family, looking ill. And he was gone, shutting the door behind him and leaving us in the lobby, dumbstruck at the treatment. "What the hell just happened?" Vivian asked. "Why do I feel like we're not wanted here?" I could say nothing. I only swallowed noisily and ushered them back outside. By the time we got to the house, the mood was subdued. We stepped inside our new home and looked around at the barren walls and the cavernous rooms. The house had somehow lost all its charm. It was nothing more than an empty shell. And even inside of it, I felt the same coldness we just experienced in town.
Hey, what's up?
The movers came and went, and we attempted to
You're the first of one?
The house was on
Thank
the
you.
back road,
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
distant enough that we couldn't see them through
I'm
the
very
trees.
pro. Yeah, I think so.
It was long enough that
No,
we
no,
could
no.
see a glimpse of
Hey,
the
how are you,
house.
Jane? Thanks for coming in.
We had no visitors. No neighbors came over to say hello. Then again, we hadn't even seen our neighbors at all.
Oh man, I just got my butt kicked.
Flash of a vehicle passing on the
I
road.
might win this one. Let's see.
After about a week in the house, with all our furniture and
Oh, there it
everything
is.
outside, Vivian and I began to feel that we had overreacted when going to get the keys from Buchanan. I blamed myself. I had come back from Reno before the move with stories of friendly people smiling and waving. I had made a big deal.
Yeah, it's night. It's almost morning, I think.
High when we all piled out of the car in that parking lot. And when we didn't get the reception we'd been expecting, we assumed the worst. Besides, in a town where
I think this one's gonna be easy.
no other black people, one could expect a little bit of trepidation. It was unfortunate, but it was the way things were in some places, apparently. Give them time.
I got it. I'm the best.
We'll win them over.
Yeah, it's night right now.
For groceries at the local market the day after we arrived, I didn't
I
have
got some
anyone
gold.
smiling at me.
Maybe I should play a different game. I'm probably gonna go to bed soon.
I didn't have anyone smiling or waving at me either. I was greeted with casual indifference for the most part. The clerk at the market was polite, sticking to the normal cashier-customer interaction. By the time we'd been in the house for 10 days, we were starting to feel pretty good about the move, which was a relief. We'd timed the move so it would happen just after Trisha
I try to be the best, but I don't know.
to interrupt her education. So by the time we got settled in the house, summer was in full swing, which meant that she was home all day with her parents. And like any 9-year-olds, she was going stir-crazy and driving us crazy in the process. So
I'm going stir crazy, bro.
I was working on ductwork blueprints for the design firm.
You're the best, though.
Vivian
I'm
and
okay.
Trisha went out to do some exploring around town. They were gone for no more than an hour when I heard the garage door go up. I didn't think much of it at first, but then I heard the door of the garage.
Oh no, I don't know if I could survive this.
My daughter crying reached my ears. I got up from my desk in my downstairs.
Okay, let's redo this. That was a tough hand.
What's wrong? I asked.
See if I can get this one.
Walking behind Trisha, hands on her shoulders. There was an incident at the playground, Vivian said. A couple of the kids ganged up on Trish. Ganged up? I asked. What does that mean? Vivian sat our daughter down on the couch and gave her a tissue. The sobbing was slowing, and Trisha nodded when Vivian asked her if she was okay. Then my wife came over and pulled me down the hall by the arm. When we were out of earshot, she told me what had happened at the playground. They threw sand in her face and called her the N-word. What? I shouted. Shh, Vivian said, gripping my arm tighter. She's already upset enough as it is. They called her. You heard them call her that? I asked, barely able to control my voice. Oh, I heard it. I had to keep from slapping one of the kids. He just kept saying it over and over again. How old were these kids? I asked. Her age? Vivian shook her head, eyes filled with despair. They were teenagers. and there were several adults nearby. They didn't do anything. They just stood there, watching the whole thing. Jesus Christ,
Racist.
what is wrong with these people? That's not all, Michael. The adults, they were smiling. I wanted to drive to the park and see if the offenders were still there. Vivian managed to talk me down, insisting that we needed to turn the other cheek. She said it was best to not let them know we would be intimidated by a couple of teenagers. We had a long chat with Trisha that night, making sure she knew it wasn't her fault in any way, shape, or form. When we went to bed, I lay awake for a long time, thinking about what to do. Moving again was the most obvious solution, but it would take months. Besides, I didn't want to move. Perhaps because it would seem like giving up. As my anger lingered, burbling under the surface, I knew that it wouldn't let me give up so easily. Little did I know that things were about to get a whole lot worse. Several more days passed without incident. Granted, we didn't venture into town during that time. Trisha asked if we could get a dog, and I didn't think it was such a bad idea. But there was no fence around the yard, so we'd have to get one installed, if we decided to get a dog for Trisha. We were running low on some essentials, so we all loaded up.
Daddy material? I don't know. Thank you. Against. So are you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
But as we entered the market, I felt people staring at us. We collected a shopping cart and moved into the small grocery store. Vivian with the list.
I don't know if I can do this. Shoot.
Door opened behind us and glanced over
See?
my shoulder to see a tall man with slicked back dark hair, dressed in a fancy gray suit. A woman who looked like a done-up housewife from the 50s or 60s.
Do I have resurrection? Yes, I got
They
it.
were good-looking and middle-aged. The man glanced over at
Good,
the 3 registers.
good job. I beat it, bro.
He waved hello to a balding man.
And the
who
best.
took for the manager and the teenage clerk next to him. The balding man didn't return the greeting. Instead, he inclined his head toward my family, as if to alert the newcomers to our presence. The tall man swiveled his head toward us, the mirth in his face as his eyes landed on the mixed-race family. Unable to help myself, I stopped pushing the car.
Thanks
and turned
against.
to face the man.
Beat this game for me. No, I'm just
He
playing.
and the woman stared right back. Finally, he broke contact and smiled sadly, shaking his head. The woman whispered something in his ears and grabbed a basket. They moved toward the opposite side of the store, faces serious. What was that? Vivian asked. I don't know.
Sure, I'll ignore you.
Pushed the cart. We decided to split up to get the shopping done as quickly as possible. Vivian and Trisha went off to get a few things, while I moved toward the
Thank you,
produce section
I
with
guess.
music played over the speaker system, just loud enough to be audible. Otherwise, the store was pretty quiet. So when I heard the sound of a slap from the middle of the store, I was immediately on edge. Then a male voice shouted, "Bitch!" Leaving the cart where it was, I hurried toward the source of the noise. As I glanced down the cereal aisle, I saw the tall man with one hand around my wife's throat, the other holding her right wrist aloft, as if he'd caught it when she tried to slap her. The woman was there, looking down the aisle at me. Some 5 yards behind her, Trisha stood stock still in the middle of the aisle, tears in her eyes. The anger I'd been carrying with me since that day Vivian and Trisha came home from the park morphed into a seething red rage. I moved down the aisle, grabbing a plastic bottle of syrup from a shelf. "Adam?" the woman said, clearly trying to get the man's attention, but the man wasn't listening.
This is so perfect. Sitting in your stream, just admiring. Thanks, bro. I don't know what you're talking about, but enjoy yourself.
His face twisted in a sneer, and he tightened his
No.
grip on her throat, pulling her toward him, and then slamming her back into the shelves. Boxes of cereal tumbled down and hit the floor. "Adam!" the woman called, blocking my way down the aisle. I shoved her aside easily, sending her sprawling into the shelves to my right. The commotion got Adam's attention, and he looked up just in time to see me raising the bottle of syrup, but not in time to react. I slammed the bottom of the bottle into his face. His nose broke with a crunch, and he released Vivian, stepping back to fight. But I was crowding in tight, and I slammed the bottle into his face again and again. Then I dropped the bottle and tripped him to the ground. I got both my hands around his throat and started to squeeze. And if I hadn't been pulled off him by a couple of store employees, I probably would have killed him right there in front of my wife and daughter. Looking back on it, I wish I had. You really did a number on our poor mayor, Sheriff said to me through the bars of the jail cell. Broke his nose, knocked out a couple of teeth, maybe even gave him a concussion. I sat in the cell on an uncomfortable metal bunk, looking at the good old boy sheriff. He was in his 50s, with a considerable gut and bushy mutton chops on his cheeks. He was a stout guy with a pinkish face and sausage fingers, and he was talking to me like we were old friends. He assaulted my wife, I said. I don't care if he's the mayor or the goddamn president of the United States. He was choking her. For all I know, he would have killed her. Well now, Mr. Larson, there seems to be some doubt as to the truth of your story. The way Mrs. Johnson tells it, your wife assaulted him and he was just defending himself. I figured Mrs. Johnson was the mayor's wife, and I wasn't surprised to hear that her version of events was far from mine. Although that didn't keep me from feeling a strangling sense of dismay. Why would my wife attack a man she's never even met before? I asked. It makes no sense. Well, you never know what those people are capable of, do you? I stood up and stepped toward the bars, looking down into the shorter man's eyes. I had my jaw clenched so tight it was giving me a headache.
Yes, 108.
He smiled faintly as he looked at me. He was trying to goad me into doing something stupid. Either that, or he was just
I guess.
where he stood the whole
You don't annoy me. I'm just chilling. I need to go to bed soon, though.
If that's the case, if she did assault him, why haven't you arrested her? If we did that, who would look after your daughter? You should be happy she's not in there with you. Besides, we're waiting to hear back from the mayor. He may yet want to press charges against your wife. We'll see. There's plenty of time. I sat back down and gripped my head in my hands. What are you charging me with? Sheriff Walsh sighed. Why don't you just sit tight and think about the choices you've made? I'd suggest focusing on your choice of spouse. All this could have been avoided if you hadn't married a monkey. Clenching my fists at my temples, I listened as the mayor walked on to the front of the station, chuckling to himself. Time passed. The sun went down outside. They never let me have my phone call. And although I had no idea what time of night it was when the sheriff came back, I knew it had to be late. Time to go, the man said. He had a deputy with him, and I thought there was a family resemblance there. Maybe a son or a nephew. Where? I asked, standing up. Are you letting me go home? Turn around and place your hands through the gap, the sheriff said. Where are you going? I asked again. Sheriff Walsh turned to the deputy. Tase him, he said. The deputy smiled as he pulled a taser from his tool belt and pointed it through the bars at me. Wait, I said. Wait. I stepped up to the gap in the bars, turned around, and stuck my hands through it. I felt the cold kiss of metal as the man fixed a handcuff to my left wrist. But, for some reason, he didn't attach it to my right. Suddenly, there was a hand on my back. He shoved me forward hard, and I stumbled toward the metal bunk. Before I could get turned around, I heard a pop sound and then felt two sharp stabs in my back, followed by a symphony of pain. My muscles stiffened as electricity coursed through my body. I collapsed into the bunk and then unable to properly use my limbs. I came to rest on the cold concrete floor, face down. The cell door came open, and as soon as the electric shock faded away, I felt a knee settle on the back of my neck. I immediately found it hard to breathe. My hands were pulled behind my back and I was fully cuffed. He tried to kill me, Sheriff Walsh said from above me. It was his knee on the back of my neck. He went for my gun. You saw it. Sure did, the other man said. Pulled out of the cuffs and went for your gun. He just wouldn't calm down. Kept talking crazy. Like he was going to kill us all. Must be on something. Must be. Please, I managed. I can't breathe. There was no response. Ragged black rings encroached on my vision. I felt lightheaded. I tried to kick my legs up, but the deputy quickly shoved them down and knelt on them. I couldn't move at all. I heard the sound of a door opening, and a woman's voice spoke urgently. Sheriff, his lawyer's here. He's right outside and he's making a big fuss. His lawyer, the sheriff said. Well, goddamn, he just moved here. How did the lawyer get here so fast? There was no answer. Suddenly, the sheriff lifted his knee from the back of my neck, allowing me to pull in a gasping breath. I rolled onto my back as the cell door closed. The sheriff, the deputy, and the woman left. Once again, I was alone in the holding area, and I was lucky to be alive. I think you would have killed me if you hadn't shown up, I said to my brother-in-law, Curtis. My voice was scratchy, and I rubbed the back of my neck as I talked. Curtis, who was driving us back to my house, shook his head. Something isn't right here. They just let you go without any paperwork at all. I don't like it. Although not a criminal attorney, Curtis was a lawyer, and he was Vivian's brother, so I trusted him implicitly. He was a good guy. Shortly after he escorted me out of the police station and to his rental car,
Almost got it, bro.
had a private jet. Directly after I'd been arrested at the grocery store, Vivian had called him, and he dropped everything to come. Now, as we drove, he told me he'd done some research. You ever heard of a town called Leith, North Dakota? The name sounded vaguely familiar, but I shook my head. Back in 2012, a guy named Craig Cobb started buying up property in the town of Leith, Curtis explained. While it wasn't clear at first, it soon became known that he was a white supremacist. His plan was to buy up a bunch of property, move all his racist friends there, and take over the town government. It would be a white utopia. They would have probably put up a sign that said, "Welcome to Leith, no coloreds allowed." I shook my head, seeing where he was going with this. Anyway, he continued, the people in Leith didn't want a bunch of Nazis taking over their town. In short, Cobb was arrested for terrorizing the citizens and was eventually prohibited from living anywhere near Leith. The guy was an idiot, even for a white supremacist. Okay, I said. I seem to remember hearing about this way back when. Are you saying that Rayner is like Leith? I'm saying that I did some research while on the plane, accessing public property records and digging into some of the names I found. Curtis paused, looking at me through the gloomy interior of the vehicle. And every single name I researched has low-key ties to the KKK. I sat back in my seat, sighing. Craig Cobb is a moron, but it seems that these
What's
people
up?
went about taking over this town much better than he did in Leith. They did it, and, looking at you, I can see why they didn't have a problem selling you a house. In their minds, no self-respecting white man would marry a person of a different race. They just assumed your family was white. So when they saw Viv and Trish, I guess they got pretty mad. I shook my head. It's so stupid. I'm not even all white. Yeah, but you look white. I guess that was enough. Curtis turned onto the street that led to my house. Listen, he said. I think we should all leave tonight. Go find a hotel somewhere. I don't think it's safe here.
What the what?
I glanced at the clock. It's so late already. We wouldn't get to a hotel before 2 in the morning. I think we'll stay for the night and then leave tomorrow. You're welcome to stay if you want. As we turned down my driveway, Curtis sighed. If you're gonna stay, I'll stay too. But I'm going to sit outside in the car, just in case. I didn't like the way the sheriff and his lackeys were looking at us. Not one bit. I agreed, but now I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd taken Curtis's advice and left as soon as we got there, because they came just a couple of hours later, and they came in force. In the light cast by the bathroom's nightlight, I looked at my beautiful wife and daughter, their faces distorted by fear. Their normally rich, dark skin was ashen, save where tears had cut dark lines down their faces. Yes, I was afraid in that moment. Afraid they would come into the house and kill us. Afraid they would take away the two most important people in my life. But mostly I was mad. I was filled with the rage that ran so deep and so red, it seemed to create a halo of hate in my vision. But when I heard a crash that could only be the front door breaking in, I did nothing but cower in my own house, waiting for our attackers to come upstairs and do whatever they pleased to us. And then I remembered Curtis. In all the fear and terror, I had forgotten that he had offered to stay outside. Suddenly jumping up and sweeping take me long to see him in the pool of light from the floodlights above the garage. He was hanging from a tree by his neck, swinging back and forth, clearly dead. A man in a white hood stepped out from behind a tree and looked up at me. He had a rifle in his hands, and he aimed it up at the bathroom window. I ducked back just before he fired. The bullets shattered the glass and traveled into the ceiling. Vivian and Tricia screamed from the spot on the floor. The firing stopped, and I could hear them in my house. They were coming up the stairs. They were coming to kill us. The fear inside stayed, but the rage that had been there now tripled in intensity. The vision of my brother-in-law hanging lynched outside my house sent me into a kind of fugue state. I yanked the shower curtain rod down and pulled the two separate pieces apart. Then I crimped the circular edges down using the heel of my golf foot against the edge of the tub. Vivian looked up at me, a question in her eyes. But she said nothing as I stepped to the bathroom door with one of the metal tubes in my hand. I listened at the door, hearing the footsteps move down the hall toward the bathroom. With my right hand, I held the tube at eye level. With my left, I held the doorknob. It was an awkward position, but I knew that if they had guns, which I was pretty sure they did, I needed all the edge I could get. I held my breath as the footsteps came close to the door. And then, with that rage flowing through me like some kind of powerful drug, I pulled the door open and threw the metal tube as hard as I could at the hooded man in the hall. The end of the tube struck him in the face, causing him to flinch back just as he pulled the trigger on his shotgun. The slug blasted a hole in the bathroom door, traveling high enough to miss my wife and daughter. I lunged out into the hall and grabbed the shotgun with both hands, slamming the man against the wall. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw another hooded figure coming up the stairs. Aiming the gun at the second figure with one hand, I reached for the trigger and pushed the man's finger down with my other. The shotgun fired, catching the second figure in the chest and sending him flying down the stairs. It only occurred to me later that I had no idea the shotgun was a semi-auto model. If it hadn't been, pulling the trigger would have done nothing without a new shell loaded in the chamber. I was lucky.
Seeing this, watching you click to straight away. Okay, that's cool. People can leave. I'm just tired. I'm gonna go to bed soon. It's not a big deal.
She pulled it out, and a gush of blood followed. The man dropped to the floor, leaving me holding the shotgun. My wife and I shared a look, and then I moved to the top of the stairs. I peered down to see Sheriff Walsh looking down at the man who'd taken a shotgun blast to the chest. The sheriff had taken both his hood off and the dead man's. I recognized the dead man as a young deputy. I was barefoot, which was probably why he hadn't heard me come to the top of the stairs. But he looked up to see me pointing the shotgun down at him. He opened his mouth to speak, but I didn't want to hear anything he had to say. I pulled the trigger. His face disappeared, replaced by a gory hole. By the time I cleared the first floor, I was fairly certain the rest of the men retreated. I moved outside cautiously, approaching the tree Curtis was still hanging from. No one appeared from the woods. I heard the distant sound of a couple of car engines firing up. I reached out and stilled Curtis's swinging body with a hand on his leg. And then the tears came. The FBI made quick work of the surviving assailants. The idiots had brought their phones with them, and the feds were able to tie the survivors and their weapons to the scene. We're still awaiting trial, but the prosecutor thinks it will be a slam dunk. They're accused of hate crimes and will likely get the maximum sentence possible. I found out later that the man my wife killed with the shower curtain rod was Buchanan, the real estate agent. The day after my family was attacked, the mayor of Rainer stuck a gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger, but it didn't do the job. He's now a vegetable that his wife must take care of. Call me cruel, but I think it's no more than they deserve. Too bad, so sad. My family soon sold the house and moved to a different small town. We've been welcomed by all the people so far, no matter their race, creed, or religion. And after that anti-American nightmare, we're now finally living the American dream. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed these stories, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out some more of my episodes here. The loud banging on the door stopped suddenly. The sound was replaced by the rumble and sobbing and outright crying of many of the students in my classroom. It's going to be okay, guys. It's going to be okay, Mr. Cooper says. He seems oddly calm to me. Despite this, his words seem like blatant lies. There's no feeling in them, no reassurance. I hear muffled voices from outside the room, and I know that they're figuring out a way in. When they do, there will be nothing to prevent them from doing whatever they want to the nerve of 30 students in the classroom. Even if Mr. Cooper had a weapon, it sounds like there are 3 or 4 men out in the hall. There's no way he'd be able to take them all on. The lockdown started not even 5 minutes ago. I heard one faint gunshot shortly after the lockdown announcement came over the intercom. But then there was nothing until the banging at the door started. Mr. Cooper is the closest to the door, like all of us students. We're all just waiting for these men to come in. Pieces of the wood door blast into the classroom with the sound of the gunshot. There's another shot, and more wood pieces fly across the front of the room. Hinges blasted away. The door falls back, and several men in clown masks rush into the room. I'm surprised to see Mr. Cooper attack one of them, knocking the guy's rifle away, and hitting him twice in the face in quick succession. One of the other clown guys goes to hit him with the butt of his rifle, but Mr. Cooper blocks it, then kicks the guy in the crotch. The third guy moves forward and does what the second couldn't. He hits my teacher on the back of the head with his rifle butt. Then the fourth guy comes forward and punches him in the face. Mr. Cooper goes down hard. Son of a bitch, the first guy says, straightening the rubber clown mask Cooper knocked askew with the 2 hits. The guy that took the crotch shot stumbled over, moaning in pain. They're all wearing the same cheap clown masks, but their clothes are all slightly different. One of them has olive pants and a black long-sleeve shirt. Another one is dressed completely in black. The other 2 have flannel shirts and jeans on. They all wear tactical vests and have pistols attached to their hips. 2 of them have backpacks on. One of them carries a shotgun, and the other 3 have semi-automatic weapons. Close up, you good? One of them says. The doubled-over guy speaks up. How about you, President? The guy that got hit in the face lifts his mask up to his nose and spits blood onto the ground. I'll be good once I take it out on this motherfucker, Rusty says, gesturing at Mr. Cooper. All in good time. All 4 of the clowns look at us where we sit huddled against the wall. Most of my classmates are crying, looking at the floor. A couple of us look up at the clowns. My name is Pennywise, says the guy who has been doing most of the talking. He's the one with the olive pants and the black shirt. We're not here for you. We're here for your teacher here. But if any of you feel the need to run out of the room, or attack us, or make any sudden moves, we will shoot you. The cries from the students grow louder in this proclamation. Shut the fuck up! Pennywise yells, scaring everyone quiet again. That's another rule, he continues in a normal tone. You need to be absolutely, positively silent. If you need to take a piss, or throw up, or take a shit, you just hold it. Got it? No one answers. Pennywise lifts his rifle and fires 2 quick shots into the ceiling over our heads. Do you understand? Yes, I say. We get it. Pennywise turns to look at me. After a moment, he says, good. Buzzard goes over the teacher's chair behind the desk, and the 4 men get Mr. Cooper too. Pennywise asks the 4th clown. Ronald sets the shotgun against the wall under the blackboard and slips his backpack off. He quickly pulls out a roll of duct tape, handing it to Krusty, who starts taping Mr. Cooper to the chair. I can't help but wonder what these guys want with our teacher. I've never given much thought to any teacher's private life. I always just figured Mr. Cooper had a wife and kids he went home to every night. But now that I think to look, I notice he doesn't have a wedding ring. He looks like a normal enough guy, although seeing the way he moved when he attacked the intruders made me think he has some kind of special training. He's one of the newer teachers in our high school, and if I had to guess his age, I'd say late 30s. Whatever he did, it looks like he pissed off the wrong people. Once Krusty is done, they try to wake Cooper up. One guy, Bozo, I think, brings out some missiles, breaking the tunnel underneath Cooper's nose. This works immediately, causing Cooper to jerk up and look around in confusion. Krusty brings his boot up and slams it down on Cooper's crotch, causing our teacher to cry out. "Where the hell is it, Parker?" he asks. "Or should I call you Cooper?" "I don't know," Cooper cries. "I don't know. I don't have it." "Bullshit," Pennywise says. "We know you do. It's somewhere in the school, isn't it?" Krusty leans forward, putting more of his weight on Cooper's crotch. "No, stop. I don't know." Most of my classmates have their eyes cast down at the floor, but I watch this interaction with interest. I suspect I know what comes next, and it won't be good. Not for any of us. "Give me the shears," Pennywise says. "Move out of the way, Krusty." Ronald goes back into his bag and brings out a pair of garden shears, handing them to Pennywise. "Where's the fucking money?" Pennywise asks once Krusty steps away. "I don't know," Cooper screams. Pennywise shakes his head and grabs my teacher's left hand. They taped both his wrists to the arms of the chair, so his hands are easily accessible. Pennywise puts the shears into position on his pinky finger, while Cooper pleads with the men to stop. I expect Pennywise to ask him again, but he doesn't. He closes the shears, cutting Cooper's pinky finger off. I hear a student vomit profusely to the sounds of the teacher's screams. I stare at the bloody severed finger on the floor like it's a prop. My brain doesn't seem capable of registering that this situation is real. Maybe I've been ruined by Hollywood movies. Or maybe this is just how I react to real-life violence. Either way, I can't bring myself to look away. "Tell me where it is," Pennywise says. "Carlton has it," Cooper screams. "Carlton's the one who hid it. I don't know where it is." Pennywise shakes his head again and goes for the ring finger, cutting it off quickly and efficiently. The smell of blood and vomit permeates the room. "We already talked to Carlton," Pennywise says. "How do you think we found out you were hiding here? We know it's here somewhere. Just tell us where, and this all stops." "You're just gonna kill me," Cooper says between packing sobs. "What should I tell you?" "You know what? You're absolutely right," Pennywise says, standing up. He looks over at Krusty and nods. Krusty nods back and then moves out into the room toward us. Screams erupt from the students, along with the rushed pleas. Krusty yells for quiet. Once he has it, he scans the students, then moves forward and grabs a girl named Beverly by her blonde hair, yanking her up. She screams and kicks her legs, but Krusty is a big man. He has no trouble dragging her to the front of the classroom. Beverly's boyfriend, Trevor, dashes out toward Krusty. He makes it 2 steps before he's shot in the chest. The kid behind him gets splattered in his blood. His body crumples to the ground. I look over to see that it was Bozo who shot him. The room is silent, except for Beverly's redoubled screams. The rest of us stare at Trevor's dead body as it leaks blood all over the floor between desks. "You think this is going to make me tell?" Cooper shouts. "I don't give a shit about any of these kids. Kill them all. I don't care." Krusty shoves Beverly down on her knees in front of Cooper. "Beg your teacher for your life," Pennywise says to her, pulling out his pistol and aiming it at her head. She's a blubbering mess, but she gets some words out. "Please, Mr. Cooper," she says. "I don't want to die. Tell him where the money is. Please." Mr. Cooper tries to stay stoic, but tears drop down his cheeks. He shakes his head. Pennywise pulls the trigger, blasting Beverly's brains all over the floor. Her body folds over. "Oh my God," I think. But that's it. I don't cry. I don't vomit. I don't feel much pain. I start to wonder if something's wrong with me. I think about dying here today, but even that doesn't bring about a strong emotional reaction. "I know you," Pennywise says. "I know you're not like us. So how many lives are you willing to take on your shoulders? Huh? I can do this all day. Can you?" He says, his eyes stream in tears. It looks like he's gearing coming up to say something, to tell them where the money is. But just as he's about to open his mouth, another clown runs into the room and whispers urgently to Pennywise. What? Pennywise says. He stands up and walks out of the room with the new clown. They don't just have the crusty girl with him. The three of them head out, leaving Bozo and Ronald behind. Bozo kneels in front of Cooper and starts trying a different tactic with him, talking about their old buddies. Maybe they are old buddies. Come on, man, Bozo says. You know how he is. He'll kill this whole fucking school to get that money. None of us want that. These are just kids, man. But you put them in this position. You did this. Ronald faces nearby. His shotgun is still propped under the blackboard, but he has his pistol in hand. When Cooper doesn't answer, Ronald kneels next to Bozo, and they both start talking to the guy, convincing him to tell them where the money is. This puts their backs to the classroom. Before the thought can cross my mind to do something, a kid named Juan hooks it straight out the door. Both the remaining clowns jump up and run after him into the hallway. I don't really want to do anything. I just do. I run up over the shotgun just as shots sound from the hallway. I quickly locate the safety and click it off, remembering all the times I've gone hunting and stepping out into the hallway with the gun ready to fire. I come face to face with Bozo. Ronald is coming back toward the classroom behind him, and down the hall, I can see Juan on the floor, blood pooling around him. Bozo has his semi-auto rifle held across his chest, not ready to fire. Ronald has his pistol in his hand, on the other thigh. You move those guns, you die, I say. I'm surprised at how steady my voice is. Hey, come on, kid, Bozo says. You trying to get yourself killed? Just put the gun down and go sit back with your little friends. Behind Bozo, Ronald takes a slow, small step to the side, trying to get behind Bozo so I can't see him. I pull the trigger, the recoil smashing the butt into my shoulder. I don't know what kind of shells are in the shotgun, but the one round takes down both men, probably because I aim at Bozo's neck above his tactical vest. The shot essentially takes his head off and continues on, smashing the Ronald behind him. Only I quickly realize that Ronald isn't dead. He's injured, but he's still moving, trying to aim his pistol up at me. So I quickly chamber another shell with a pump slide and fire at Ronald before he can fire at me. There's no way he's alive after the shot. His head is pretty much gone. I hear footsteps coming from the far end of the hall. Looking up, I see Pennywise, Krusty, and the other clown rounding the corner at a run. I spin around and run the other way, ducking down the hallway as the clowns fly behind me. I know all the classroom doors are locked, at least all the ones with people in them. But I also know that the stage entrance to the auditorium is down the hall. I think of the storage area behind the stage, with all the props and costumes. I duck toward the door, thankful to find that it's unlocked. Once inside, I go down a short hallway and duck into the storage room. There's all kinds of stuff inside, and plenty of places to hide. So I wedge myself behind some stacked wooden cutouts, pulling a nightmare costume back toward me to block the entrance. I rack the slide on the shotgun, loading another shell into the chamber, and I wait. The door slams open after only a couple of seconds. Where'd he go? I hear Krusty say. I don't know, Pennywise says. I assume the other clown, the fifth one, back in the classroom with Mr. Cooper. Fuck! Pennywise shouts. He's just a kid, Krusty says. We need to get the money and get the hell out of here. How's the diversion setup going? Fine, Pennywise says. Mackey's on it. He'll have the kids loaded on the bus and the explosives in place. The cops will think we're getting on it. By the time it explodes, we'll be gone. You don't think they can see with their helicopters and drones? Just fucking relax. It's fine. He pulled the bus right up to the doors, and there's an awning blocking the view from overhead. With the school doors propped open, they can't tell who got on or off. I've already told the dipshit negotiator we'll be leaving with a bus full of hostages. So we just need the money, Krusty says, sounding relieved. There's a moment of silence from Pennywise. I assume he's looking around the room. Then he sighs and says, let's go. I wait several minutes to be sure that it's not some ploy to get me to come out of Once I'm sure they're gone, I shove aside the costume rack and crawl out. Having no idea how many shells the shotgun holds, I pump it once, eject an unfired shell. Pumping it again yields nothing. Only one shell left. I load the shell back into the gun so it's ready to fire. Then I creep back out of the storage room, and then into the hallway, moving slowly and looking all around. The first thought is getting people out of classrooms, but I quickly realized that no one will open a classroom door for me, a teenager carrying around a shotgun. Even if I didn't have the gun, protocol is to wait for police to show up and escort people out. And since this is a hostage situation, I don't think the police will be coming anytime soon. Instead, I think of what Pennywise was saying about a bus parked next to doors with an awning. If they're going to blow up a bus, that should be my priority. If I go running out the nearest exit and tell the police what's happening, I doubt they'll be able to stop it. The only exterior doors that have an awning and an area big enough to pull a bus up to are the ones next to the gym. There's a big stretch of concrete in front of the main gym doors that a bus could drive up on easily. Plus, having the gym doors propped open would block any side views, just like Pennywise said. The only problem would be getting there. As I approach the hallway with Juan and the dead clowns in it, I hear footsteps and voices coming toward me. I run back the other way and slip into a recessed doorway as they pass, going down the main hallway. Once they've passed, I creep down the hall again and poke my head around the corner, seeing Ron, Krusty, and the nameless clown escorting Mr. Cooper down the hall. He must have talked. I wonder briefly how many of my classmates are now dead in the room. How many it took for Cooper to tell them what time is. Again, the numbness is pervasive, and I realize that ability, which seems to be inherent, is the only way I'm able to push my fear aside long enough to do what I'm doing. So maybe there is something wrong with me. But if there is, I'll take it. As long as I can use it to stop these assholes, I'll take it. I watch the four people move down the hallway, waiting until they pick a direction. There are two ways they can go. Right toward the gym, or left toward the old section of the school. They go left. This is good for me, because I need to go right to get to the bus, and try to warn the people on it. So I sneak down the hallway, taking it slow, listening for signs of movement. I get to the intersecting hallway and look down it, seeing that it's empty. The interior gym doors are at the very end. I just hope they're unlocked. I move down the hallway, gun up, and ready to fire.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Doors without incident.
What's going
The
on?
gym door slams open just as I'm reaching down.
Hope I defeat that thing. I'm getting my butt kicked right now.
Standing in front of me is another clown I've never seen before. With a pistol. The pistol that he's raising to point at me. My shotgun is no longer in a firing
Again, stop
position.
making him
I take a
uncomfortable.
step back to get
Oh,
back
it's
in
okay.
position,
He's fine.
but I'll be dead by the time I
It don't bother me.
So I do the only thing I can do. I swing the butt of the shotgun at the guy's gun hand.
I may go to bed soon though, but nothing to do with him.
Backhands me with his other hand. My head snaps sideways.
I've been doing online for a long time.
As I turn,
Things don't bother me all that
accidentally
much.
press the trigger on the shotgun. The gun fires, the recoil ripping it out of my hand and jamming my finger as it goes. I hit the ground hard, the empty shotgun clattering against the floor behind me. Expecting to take a bullet any second, I whip my head around to look at the clown. He stands over me, looking down, but he's no longer holding his pistol. That's technically wrong. He is holding the pistol, but that part of his arm is no longer attached to his body. I must have accidentally fired the shotgun just when the barrel was pointing at his right arm, directly at the elbow joint.
I think I'm gonna go to bed right after this. Hope you guys are doing good.
He moves, causing me to scramble.
Let's see. Shoot, I don't.
And picks up his arm. Then, without another glance at my
I'm gonna die.
he walks down the hall.
I hope there's health. There's health, but not.
But I'll take what I can get. Getting
Dang it! I don't think I'm gonna win this.
to the gym.
Let's say resurrection.
Basketball courts toward the exterior doors. Rusty doors. I see the bus driving through the
I do have it. Oh man, I should have.
police cars everywhere on the street outside the school, but they're moving out of the way, apparently to let the bus pass. Stop! I scream, running out of the bus. yelling for them to stop. Scared students look out at me, their faces all screwed up with fear. The bus keeps going. Maybe these guys told the driver they would shoot kids inside the school if he stopped. Maybe they threatened his family. Whatever the reason, he's not stopping. I grab the rear bumper with one hand as the bus bumps down out of the parking lot and turns.
I am the best.
Haha.
I don't think I'm gonna get that last one. I'm gonna go to bed though right now. So have a good night, guys. After I beat this game.
I yell at them, but I know they won't be fast enough. The bus could explode at any moment. My legs are getting tired, and my feet get tangled up. As I fall, I shoot my other hand out in a desperate attempt to hit me. My grip stays strong, but the bus is now dragging me down the street. I look up toward my hands, and my eyes pass over something stuck to the underside of the bus. It's the bomb. 4 pipes tied together and attached to what looks like a simple timer. I don't know much about vehicles, but I'm guessing the tank-like structure it's next to is the gas tank. The bomb is about 4 feet away from me under the bus. I think I can reach it if I do this right. The bus is only going 25 miles an hour. I switch my right hand from an overhand grip to an underhand on the underside of the bumper. I flip my body over, supporting all my weight with my right hand for a second as I do. I almost slip, with my left hand in position under the bumper just in time. Finally, I bend my knees, bringing my feet up, letting the soles of my shoes slide along the asphalt like I'm skiing back.
That sucked.
I start dragging myself under the bus, the street passing about a foot under my back. I can feel the soles of my shoes getting hot from the friction. Almost there. Unable to see how the bomb is attached, I decide to just reach for it, realizing as I pull it that it's attached with magnets next to the gas tank. It comes off fairly easily. My arm muscles are just about done, so I let go, and scraping along the ground until I come to a stop. I sit up at the waist and look around for a place to throw the bomb. There's a house to my right, and police lining the street to my left. So I just put the bomb in the middle of the street and run. Move! It's a bomb! I shout at the police standing nearby. I run at an angle away from the bomb, jumping over the nose of a cop car as the police get the message and scatter. The bomb explodes behind me. The sound is incredible and deafening. I hear shrapnel smashing into the police car I'm hiding behind. And I look down the street to see the squad car nearest the bomb go airborne. It comes crashing down on its roof. Thankfully, it doesn't look like anyone is inside. I don't waste any time. Once I'm sure I'm okay, I turn to the nearest cop and tell him that the clowns aren't on the bus, that they have some other means of escape. It doesn't take them long to think of the tunnels built under the school. Tunnels that lead to the old sewer system that's no longer used. Apparently, they called one of the old principals in when it was clear they were dealing with a hostage situation. The old woman told them about the tunnels, so they had guys waiting at the likely exits even before I came out. So I hang out with the cops until we get the word that the SWAT teams covering the tunnels caught 5 guys trying to escape, with over $5 million in cash. Apparently, these guys have been robbing banks all over the U.S. for years, saving the money until they could get out of the country. Then the guy I knew was Mr. Cooper, and another member of their crew stole the money. It takes them hours to sort through everything, but my mom and dad come down and keep me company through all the questions. I have to repeat my story about a dozen times. I can tell my parents are kind of appalled that I killed 3 guys. Oh yeah, the one whose arm I shot off died in the school of blood loss. But they're glad I'm alive. Obviously, I'm glad I'm alive too. The police say that I saved a lot of lives, and I guess I did. But I learned an important lesson during the school lockdown. I learned that I have nerves of steel. So I guess I should become a cop. But the more I think about that, the more I think that it
Man, I actually lost. I'm gonna get enough. Thank you guys for watching, and it's pretty much over anyways.
I looked up as Silas came into the classroom.